Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. When I was in sixth grade, I realized that school holidays were overrated, and the reason for that was we were coming up to a holiday. I think it might have been Thanksgiving. Got all excited about that. Thanksgiving Day came around, and I quickly realized that it was overrated because everything I wanted to do became affected by the fact that everybody took Thanksgiving off, right? Obviously, my family got it off as well, so I didn't have time away from my parents, right? Uh, it's not like when I get sick and I stay home from school and I get some time and distance away from my parents who still have to work, right? It wasn't like that at all, right? Also, when we would go out to eat, my favorite restaurant, I used to love fast food, obviously, might not be open, or some restaurants might be really busy. Couldn't go to theme parks because they would be really busy as well, right? So we lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We had a Kennywood theme park. I don't think they were open Thanksgiving. Pittsburgh can get pretty cold by Thanksgiving time. So they probably weren't even open in the first place. Here in Phoenix, we probably do have theme parks that are open Thanksgiving holidays, but they're going to be packed on Thanksgiving Day, right? If it's open at all, right? Maybe on Thanksgiving Eve, it's going to be packed, right? Similarly, Black Friday shopping is going to be really packed, right? You're not going to be able to shop in peace. And I quickly realized that because everybody had Thanksgiving off, it quickly neutralized all of the benefits that you were hoping to get, right? The alone space, your favorite outings or travel, right? If you try to fly on Thanksgiving Day, it's going to be extremely expensive, right? And it neutralized all the benefits. Now, I do like the concept of a day off, and it got me thinking, why does everybody have to take the same Thanksgiving off? We all need to give thanks in our lives. There's no doubt about that, right? We all need to find our religions, right? There's no doubt about that, right? But why does it all have to happen on the very same day, right? It quickly neutralizes all of the benefits of I do love celebrating. Don't get me wrong about that. So in 2020, I got to take holidays on my own schedule. On October 24 is Evelina Falinta's birthday. She won second place on the first season of Polish Idol 1. And she is happily married to herself, it looks like. Not officially. Someday it might be official. But at the moment, it's unofficial. So I decided to celebrate her birthday to enjoy that kind of relationship. And I went out to my favorite Thai restaurant. Now, that was around the time that Seattle had finally opened to 100% capacity. Still not too many people were going out to the restaurants, though. So I had a good time, a lot of alone space and all that. It wasn't an official holiday, which made it all the much better, right? And it got me thinking everybody should celebrate holidays on their own timetable, right? Yes, we should probably celebrate achievements that the labor movement has made that are good, right? Obviously, they've done some wacky things too, but they've had some good ideas, right? Yes, we should certainly celebrate giving thanks. We should certainly celebrate our maker, right? The birth of our maker, whoever you believe that is to be. And so, what other holidays are coming up? We should. So, some people like to celebrate the concept of death, and they like to die for 25 hours, right? Or feel like they're dying for 25 hours to celebrate that concept, right? We also have not really an official holiday, but some people like to celebrate ghosts, right? I have a funny story about a ghost, actually. I was at an Airbnb and it was haunted, and I complained that I had saw a ghost. And Airbnb misread the email and said that they were sorry that there were additional undisclosed guests in the home, right? And it made me realize how the word guest and ghost kind of sound alike, right? But abolish that. There's one other holiday I hope we finally get around to abolishing. Fortunately, Arizona doesn't celebrate it, but in some states, people have this wacky idea that twice a year they need to change their clocks, right? I hope we abolish that holiday once and for all this year, right? But why does the federal government tell us when we need to take a break? right? It's the stupidest idea in the books, right? It's almost certainly unconstitutional, right? We're supposed to have separation of the state and the church, and yet the state is telling us when we need to celebrate our church holidays, right? That's the stupidest idea in the books. It's inefficient, right? Think about it this way, right? Imagine you have a medical researcher. It's Saturday, and he has this great idea that might someday cure AIDS or COVID-19 or cancer. But unfortunately, Labor Day, and he has to take off, and that idea never gets developed. Right? It could happen, right? Or conversely, maybe some people have some personal hobby that they do outside of their work. Right? Imagine you have this Ukrainian refugee, and she's living here in the United States doing some kind of manual labor, right? I don't know. I'll let you think about what a Ukrainian refugee might do in the United States. But on her spare time, she likes to go out for hikes, and sometimes she finds an interesting rock and decides to make some art out of it, and then think about what kind of chemicals are in there. And on this particular day, had she just taken a day off to do that, she would have discovered this new chemical element. We'll call it Ukrainium, right? And this chemical element has some interesting properties. It could power nuclear cars. But unfortunately, she never got to take that day off. Instead, she got some stupid Labor Day off. And the stars just didn't line up, and she never got to discover this chemical element. And so we still have to drive these gas-guzzling cars. It could happen, right? I guarantee in the history of all humans, everywhere, stuff like this has happened once or twice, right? Just because of how many people there are and how many days we're all forced to take off, how many days we don't get to take off, right? It's unfortunate, which is why we need to abolish these federal holidays, allow people to breathe a little bit, take the days off that they want to, and to not take the days that they don't want to take off, right? And we definitely need to have the government get out of our clocks and telling us to change our clocks twice a year. Fortunately, Arizona doesn't do it, which is part of the reason why I even moved here in the first place, believe it or not. That's how much I dislike that concept. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum.